Welcome to another demo of the new features. Now we are going to talk about applicable standards. Erik, do you want to tell us why applicable standards are important?
Well, applicable standards are very important because they are applicable. And of course, no, that's a bit of a silly joke. But for CE marking regulation, the whole system runs on standards, right? Mm-hmm. So that's explained in the Blue Guide that you can't put everything in legislation. So this is why a large part of the normative backbone is formed by standards. So you can have product-specific technical regulations. Now we have the system then that if you can refer to an applicable or harmonized standard, then that means that you get a presumption of conformity, and that's why these standards are so important, because then you don't need to come up with your own reasoning why this particular technical solution described in the harmonized standard would be relevant for the state of art. So very interesting.
So normally deciding which standards are applicable takes a lot of time.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Igor has a feature for us.
Also, that even being able to refer to a standard that may be applicable but is not harmonized is relevant.
Yeah.
Because if you want to have a discussion with a regulator or a notified body or maybe somebody else about what the regulatory state of art or the normative state of art would be, it's very important to know if there is a standard that would be relevant for a particular general safety and performance requirement, or even broader essential requirement.
Great. Shall we start?
Yeah, sure. So we at Raiana, we developed the app standards applicability, where you can either upload a document of your medical device, or you can describe by yourself about the medical device, the intended purpose, and the indication. And then the Raiana AI will get the document and some answers that we'll put inside of it, and we'll give to you a list of all the applicable standards for you, and also the harmonized version, as you mentioned, that it's really important. So first here you have the dashboard.
It's important to mention here too how we determine that a standard is important, right? Because people may think that like most of the big AI companies, we would steal everybody's standards and scrape them from the internet, which is actually not what we do, because what we do is we have our AI look on the public internet to at the public part of the standard that defines the scope. So basically we are doing nothing that you couldn't do yourself without having a standards
More specifically,
license.
it actually takes the source. So it takes the ISO source for ISO standards, for example. It's not just any public internet, but it's actually the actual source.
Because they have this convenient scope preview feature on the ISO website, which we exploit.
Yeah, that's it. So in the dashboard you have all the reports that you run and you can download, but let's create a new one. So with new analysis, first you select the regulatory framework that you want. So let's do one for MDR, for example, and it pre-selected some standards that it will check if the medical device, what kind of standards it needs for it. So you can deselect or keep selecting if you want. And then here you can put the device name. Actually, we got from the internet the medical device, right?
Yeah, a Medtronic IFU.
So we can put here the document, upload the document here. Here. And then this is the document that we want to check. And here
we can call it IPG. It's an IPG.
IPG.
Yeah.
And then you hit continue. And here you need to put some information more of your medical device that will help the Raiana AI to check from the list of the standards if it's applicable of your medical device or not. So for this you put the So after filling this form, you can start the analysis. You will be redirected to the dashboard because the tool will start to collecting your document, the answers that you put here. As you can see, it's processing. So you can see already that it found 46 standards for
That's
this
why
medical
it took a
device.
while, right? Because
Yes.
this is the kind of stuff that if you would do it as a person, selecting 46 standards that might be applicable, that's
Exactly.
several days' work, I would say.
So this is the generated Excel that you have it. So basically you have separated by categories like risk management, quality management system, and then you have the standard that you need for the device, and you also have the harmonized version for MDR. That is the framework that you selected.
Yeah, perfect. What you often see is that you have experts in a company that are used to working with the core standard, the non-harmonized version, is that they may not realize that a particular standard has been harmonized.
Yeah.
And that is, and also what the latest version of the harmonized standard is. Typically, I see clients always refer to obsolete harmonized standards,
Yeah.
for example. That's a really big thing. And this is actually, I mean, you can think like, yeah, whatever, but these are the things that actually you get non-conformities about. So this is also a way to actually refresh the standards that are applicable to your product. So even in a situation where you are like, well, I would just want to know, for example, if my DOC, my declaration of conformity, is still current because I've mentioned a bunch of standards on it. This is a very quick and easy way to actually check if the standards on your declaration of conformity are still current. And yeah, I mean, you also don't want a gap between the standards on your DOC and the ones that you refer to in the technical documentation, for example.
Yeah.
Yes.
As part of new features, we have GSPR as well.
Yeah, GSPR Checker is also that is absolutely super relevant because it's basically the core of CE marking, right?
Yeah.
This is where it all starts. And again, I would say it's a universally underestimated task. If you look at the older essential requirements checklist when the GSPRs were still essential requirements, right, under the embryonic MDD and also IVD directive, you would just see people go like making ticks for for essential requirements, or they would say, oh, not applicable. But now you really need a lot more justification. And you can also see that notified bodies are issuing a lot of guidance on what are often make mistakes with parsing things to GSPRs.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Erik. Thank you, Igor, for joining
Thank
us
you.
today. And until next feature.